Okay, I know I'm late. I'm really, really late. But whatever, get over it. As our host Carol sometimes says, or said this week, if it's already in my mouth, why does it matter that I'm putting more in my mouth? Anyway, you've played peekaboo with your genitals to Palm Swipes After, a sweaty French crawler of the latest episode of Mom Swipes Left, a podcast with two middle-aged women who pee clear by noon. This is episode 810Z1 about MSL episode 219. I'm your host, Pomme de Terre. Enjoy. I will go so far as to say that I think this week's show had better musings than last week's musing show. And by musings, I mean Jen and Carol's hot takes on topics they're talking about, or as my mushroom friends called them, hatakis. That's a thinker. Anywho, so started with musings on what was kind of a criminal minds like scenario of putting in order the things that Jen and Carol would hurt. Not that they want to hurt anybody, but apparently it was important for them to discuss what they would hurt and who would get hurt first. So, for instance, Jen wouldn't want to hurt an animal, and she certainly wouldn't want to hurt a stuffy or a human baby, but she'd shoot the baby and she'd shoot her dog before the stuffy, I think. I'm wondering about the letter P, or whatever letter happens to be Jen's favorite letter. The nicest of the letters. Would she shoot said letter? There was a good discussion of the biodiversity of belly buttons, which apparently are yet another fingerprint we'll one day use to unlock our phones. I'm with Carol that belly buttons are meant to be pretty much left alone. They are not bioweapons. May be a cure for cancer, like the rainforest with their infinite forms of life to be found. Um, I am a little creeped out by belly buttons. Don't like anybody touching mine either. It does give me the vibs. And that, to me, is a warning, Jennifer. You do not need to plumb the depths of your belly button to find the bottom. It is not intended to have a bottom. In fact, I think that perhaps it is a belly button, not because it looks like a button, but because it is a button that, if you touch the bottom, will open a portal back to your mother's womb. So, unless you want to get sucked back into Sharon's stomach, stop touching the damn thing. And certainly don't smell it. There was also a good conversation about things that are most to least private. I don't have a lot to add to this because I was a little confused about, are you showing it, or are you touching it? Are you touching it in front of other people? Are you having others touching it? Again, we're with the belly button. Clits, assholes, vagina holes, pee holes. Yeah, pee holes are, they gonna give me the vibes the way that belly buttons do. I don't have a particular impression of Audis. I'm curious about Spencer's lack of a belly button. I'm wondering if it could be a sign of immaculate conception. Perhaps Spencer was the second coming and you just let him go. And then finally, a very important musing on who's the bigger freak. I don't know that I agree on all the questions that were asked to determine freakiness, freakdom is gender. I think being a freak is kind of a state of mind. It's not just the things you've done. Certainly, falling in the toilet on accident doesn't make you a freak. If you do it on purpose, perhaps you're entering some freaky territory. And yes, I have caused myself to fall in the toilet once. Um, the miraculous thing is that I ever got out of it. Have you been confused for being homeless? I don't know that I have. Jen did, and Jen, here's a little something I can tell you about the phrase Port Authority has arrived. Port Authority bus station in New York City is known to house the finest homeless people in the world. So I think that is what people were saying about you at Hampshire. You had your New Yorker transplants who came to your school and they wanted to share their snobbery of what Port Authority really looks like and smells like. Questions of whether you had sex with two different people within the same 24-hour period, I would have to ask, does masturbation count? If so, then yes. Listing off freaky things, Jen, your tweezer collection, definitely in the freak zone. Documenting your poop and sending it to your husband. Well, perhaps, maybe Joel is the real freak here because, unbeknownst to us all, he has kept an album of your poop shots for his spank bank. That's pretty damn freaky. Carol whacked off in a public bathroom. I think that's pretty freaky. Inspired, I assume, by some really good tiramisu. Tiramisu. No, I had it yesterday. Tiramisu horny was what I wanted to say. And then questions of whether you would pick someone else's nose. I think it depends how well you know them. Reminds me of that old expression, you can pick your nose and you can pick your friends, but you can't pick your nose's friends. Peeing in bed as an adult, I don't think it is freaky territory. I'm definitely on board with the problems of dreaming about pissing. I'm always kind of impressed when I wake up and I'm not soaked in piss because I had a dream about peeing. So all of this I have to say so far I'm kind of on Carol's side as being the freakier, except for Joel and his turd bank. But I think the quiz left out a question, which is: have you dressed as a virtual potato for nearly 2 years just for easy laughs and attention? If so, then you are the real freak. Who is freakier than that? So it's either me or Cardiff. A. Damn, that was longer than I thought it was going to be.